Imagine a flicker, in the deepening twilight, a silhouette etched against glowing embers, muscles tense like coiled springs, eyes sharp as obsidian, scanning the horizon, full of purpose. This is no myth. This is a Neanderthal, our forgotten kin, standing on the edge of survival. Who were these beings? What secrets do they hold? Why do they still stir something deep inside us? A primal ache, a whisper from the bones. Neanderthals walked the earth for hundreds of thousands of years, from roughly 400,000 years ago to about 40,000 back. A time span beyond imagination, longer than our own species has endured. Their world was vast and brutal. Ice gripped Europe in unyielding fists. Glaciers stretched like endless white seas. Winds cut through bone, howling across frozen tundras. From the Siberian plains, where mammoths thundered, to the rocky coasts of Spain, to the sun-baked Levant, they survived everywhere. They called these wild places home, and they endured what we cannot fathom today. Now picture them up close, short and stocky, built like living battering rams. Men averaged 5 feet 5 inches, women slightly smaller. But strength wasn't in height, it was in density. Bones thick as oak, twice as strong as ours. Muscles forged in the crucible of ice and scarcity. Wide noses? Not random. Survival tools? Warming icy air before it scorched the lungs. Heavy brow ridges, framing deep-set eyes. Constant vigilance against predators and blizzards. They were not primitive. They were adapted. They were human, just different. They hunted giants, woolly mammoths, with tusks like siege weapons, giant deer, cave bears twice their size. This was no reckless charge. It was strategy, born of necessity. Groups moved as one, silent shadows in the snow. One drove the prey forward, with shouts and spears. Others struck from the flanks, thrusting wooden javelins tipped with stone. Every kill meant survival for weeks. Every failure, hunger gnawing like a beast. But they gathered too. Roots pried from frozen soil, berries plucked in fleeting summer thaws, nuts cracked open by patient hands. Life was a delicate balance, strength tested by scarcity. Their greatest tool? Not muscle, the mind. They mastered fire, not just stumbled upon it, but commanded it. Flint struck against pyrite, sparks birthed in the dark. Twigs coaxed to flames, fed with bone-dry dung. Night after night, circles of warmth pushed back the void. Fire meant protection from saber-tooths, cooking to unlock nutrients, even light for crafting. It was identity. They buried their dead, with care, intentionally. Graves in Shanidar Cave, hold bodies curled in sleep, sprinkled with flower pollen, wild hyacinths, may be laid as farewell. Tools placed beside them, spears for the hunt, ochre for the rituals. This was no instinct. This was meaning, emotion. They felt loss. They mourned. They honored. Art bloomed in their hands. Cave walls in Spain's El Castillo, bare handprints in red pigment, 64,000 years old, pressed with breath and intent. Symbols without words, but pulsing with story. Flutes carved from vulture bones, holes precisely tuned, music echoing through icy chambers, long before history's ink. Tools, advanced beyond their time. The Mousterian toolkit, flint blades flaked with Levallois precision, scrapers for hides, cutters for meat. They boiled birch bark into sticky pitch glue, 200,000-year-old tech, requiring fire control and foresight. Bone needles pierced animal skins, sinew threads stitching boots and coats against killing frost. They lived in rhythm, dawn hunts dissolving into craft by firelight, children learning early, reading snow tracks, napping stones, tending flames. Families huddled in caves or hide tents, sharing silence heavy with survival's weight. Laughter too, perhaps. Gruff voices around the hearth. Then we arrived. Early modern humans, spilling from Africa around 60,000 years ago. We met in Europe, the Middle East, shared caves, traded tools, kindled overlapping fires, and sometimes bloodlines intertwined. Science confirms it. DNA from those unions lingers. Today, you carry 1 to 4% Neanderthal code, boosting your immunity to viruses, thickening your skin against sun, sharpening your response to cold. Even traits like straight hair or nicotine cravings, their gift. But over millennia, they faded. Around 40,000 years ago, their numbers crashed. No single villain. Climate shifted, ice melted, forests crept in, megafauna vanished. We adapted faster. Slimmer spears, wider networks, boats to new lands. Disease from our migrations, competition for caves and kills, all wove the end, a slow vanishing, until scattered bands clung to Gibraltar's cliffs, gazing at a warming world. They no longer fit. The last fire crackled out. Silence fell, but they never fully disappeared. They live on, in your veins, your resilience, your night sky wonder. We once dismissed them as brutes. Now we know. They were us. Another branch of humanity, another verse of survival. They endured ice, hunger, loss, time itself. When you stare into the stars tonight, they did too, and wondered, just like we do.